Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randyrhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Mary had a little lamb.
The fall. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
How we go forward, I'm going to coordinate with the president's lawyers. So there won't be any difference between us on how to do this. We all know how it's going to end.
Do you see any problem with Mitch McConnell coordinating with the president's lawyers?
Well, I certainly think what he should start by doing is trying to show the American people in history that this is a serious trial.
Yeah, right.
Try to imagine a typical trial in a typical courtroom where the person who is the foreman of the jury is literally talking to the defendant's attorneys day in and day out. I just think in the best interests of the Senate and of the American people, what we need here is a small number, 4 or more, of Republican senators who go to Majority Leader McConnell and say, instead of simply coordinating with President Trump, you should work across the aisle, try and get unanimity, as happened in the Bill Clinton trial, about what these rules should be going forward.
Are you comfortable with a trial with no witnesses?
Look, there's lots of evidence that's already been presented in the House. I think this is something that ought to be worked out between the two parties, and that Schumer and McConnell should come to an agreement as to exactly what the scope and length of the trial will be. If it's dismissed on the first day, obviously that's not a full and fair trial. But the details, that really ought to be up to the majority and minority. You know, Chuck, I really miss the voice of John McCain in these moments. He was the sort of senator who was able to call his colleagues to put our national security and our country over party.
You know why Donald Trump hates John McCain so much? Do you know why? Do you have any idea why? It's an interesting story. Apparently, the Steele dossier was given to John McCain by Chris Steele, but it was given to him in October of 2016, just ahead of the election. And John McCain confabbed with Lindsey and said, what am I supposed to do with this? And Lindsey said, give it to the FBI. The FBI got the Steele dossier in December of 2016. Okay, so all these crazy timelines, that they want to skip over don't make any sense. But that's why Donald Trump hates John McCain so freaking much, because John McCain turned that dossier. 70% of it was proven to be true, 30% of it unproven, but 70% of it was proven to be true, and he turned it over to the FBI, and that is why there's so much hatred, and that is why Lindsey Graham is so afraid of Donald Trump. Also, he is not doing well in the polling for his reelection. Now, what Chris Coons says there is absolutely accurate. All we need is 4 GOP members of the Senate to go to Mitch McConnell and say, that is a show trial you are proposing. That is a Soviet subversive, illegal, illegitimate trial that you are proposing, where you make opening statements and then you close the trial, you take 51 votes. That you need 4 Republican senators, okay? Now, I'll tell you, Lamar Alexander from Tennessee is retiring. Bill Burr from North Carolina is retiring. Mike Enzi from Wyoming is retiring. And as you know, Roberts from Kansas is retiring. So what do they have to lose by upholding democracy, by insisting on a free and fair trial that includes witnesses that were there on that phone call or were there and held up the money after 2 certifications by our Department of Defense that Ukraine had met the benchmarks for anti-corruption measures, right? What do they have to lose? Now, you got Susan Collins from Maine, who's on the ballot in 2020. Cory Gardner, too, from Colorado. Why can't they stick their necks out for democracy? What is the problem there? Murkowski, Romney. Okay, neither one of them are up for re-election. Murkowski, she's on the ballot in 2022. Romney's not on the ballot till 2024. Where's your sense of decency? Why can't you join with the Democrats in the Senate and say, all right, look, this isn't a free and fair trial. We'll withhold judgment until we have a free and fair trial. What's wrong with that? And then you got some senators from swingy states that are running, like Cornyn and Joni Ernst from Iowa, Martha McSally from Arizona, Tom Tillis from North Carolina. Why can't they stick their necks out for a trial, a free trial, a fair trial in America? What is the problem? If the president has nothing to hide, why is he hiding everything? Junior in California.
What's wrong with that? Yes?
May I help you?
Yeah, I'm just calling you. Why are you guys spreading fake news saying about the impeachment?
What was fake? What was wrong that I said?
Everything's fake.
Tell me.
Okay, when Trump says the United States want us to investigate Biden, you guys are getting twisted.
Biden?
That word. It's us, the American people. I want to know.
It's not just a phone call, Junior. It's not just a phone call, okay? This has been going on for months. There are text messages between Sondland and...
Paige and her lover.
No.
Paige and her lover.
No, between Sondland and Volker, where they're talking about Zelensky and how Zelensky is worried about this money being held up, and he's concerned.
Ukraine is a corruption country.
No, Ukraine is not a corrupt country.
It is look it up.
You look it up.
You guys don't have your facts.
All right, go ahead.
Ukraine is known to be a corrupt country.
By who?
I don't want my money, your money, anyone's money go to a corruption country. Like me, I'm Mexican.
Is America corrupt?
If Mexico was corrupt, I don't want my money to send to Mexico, my tax money.
Mexico?
No, I want to help my country.
Mexico?
Right?
We send money to Mexico.
No, yeah, but
we send weapons. We send weapon systems to Saudi Arabia. Israel is on their third election because their prime minister is on trial for fraud, money laundering, and corruption, and we send them aid. What is wrong with you? Exactly.
Okay, yeah, but who is the only country in the Middle East that will help us?
Wait.
Saudi Arabia.
On the list of
Iran,
Saudi Arabia.
All those countries are all messed up.
Saudi Arabia.
Don't get mad. I'm telling you the facts.
I'm not getting mad. I'm trying to explain to you that Saudi Arabia is the 34th.
And
Saudi Arabia is...
Trump is not getting impeached. Trump is going to get 4 more years elected.
Trump is getting impeached on Wednesday. All right, can we just settle that now? Saudi Arabia is the 34th most corrupt country on the planet. 15 of the 19 hijackers that attacked us on 9/11 were from Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia just beheaded and dismembered an American green card holder, a Washington Post reporter, journalist, Jamal Khashoggi. They dismembered him and took his body out in garbage bags. And you just had a Saudi shoot up the Navy base in Pensacola because he hates America. But he was here training to use American weapons. Name me anything remotely like that Ukraine has ever done to the United States of America. By the way, on the list of corrupt countries, Ukraine is around 68th. Okay? So... Israel's going through its third election because Benjamin Netanyahu is being tried for fraud, money laundering, and a whole host of, And what does Benjamin Netanyahu say to his people? Says the same thing that Donald Trump says. The prosecutors are corrupt, even though Benjamin Netanyahu handpicked them. We have to investigate the investigators. It's a small world with corrupt people. They only know how to blame others for what they do that is corrupt. Jesus, wake up. Go to RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.